Hey Yankees fans, welcome back. Let's dive straight into some of the biggest stories shaping the team right now, because there's a lot to unpack with the roster and the rotation. Starting with Michael King. He's been one of those names floating around that could really make a difference if brought back to the Yankees. If you remember, King was a key piece in the trade that sent Juan Soto away, and seeing him pitch in New York again would definitely be exciting for fans. His first year as a starter was incredible for San Diego, posting a 2.95 earned run average across 30 starts and racking up over 2,000 strikeouts in just over 173 innings. Of course, last season was a bit rougher due to injury, limiting him to just 15 appearances with a 3.44 ERA, but the talent is undeniable. The real question comes down to the price tag and commitment. Realistically, King could command around 4 years at $100 million, maybe a little more, and with the injuries he's faced, there's understandable caution about locking him in for too long. But if he stays healthy, the Yankees would be adding a true frontline starter, someone who could anchor the rotation for years. Now, when we look at the current pitching staff, there's a clear need for another starter. Carlos Rodon is expected to miss the opening month of the season, and Garrett Cole's early schedule could also be impacted. Right now, the rotation looks like it will be Max Fried, Will Warren, Luis Healy, Cam Schlittler, and Ryan Yarbrough, which leaves some gaps in both experience and depth. Adding a pitcher like King could solve that, but the Yankees have already invested significant money into their pitching, so any new deal has to be carefully considered. And then there's Tatsuyami. If the Yankees bring King back, Ikemimi is no longer in play, which complicates the strategy for improving the rotation. Over the weekend, reports surfaced that the Yankees were actively exploring me, so it's interesting to see King's potential return possibly shifting those plans. From a roster standpoint, King declining a qualifying offer from the Padres means the Yankees would have to give up draft picks, maybe even 2, but considering the impact he could have, it might be worth it. Fans remember King fondly, and bringing him back could feel like reclaiming a missing piece from that big Soto trade. Shifting over to the infield, Corey Seager has been generating a lot of buzz as well. The Rangers' general manager made it clear that the trade rumors have been somewhat exaggerated, though they didn't deny that discussions are happening. Seager is one of the elite players in the game, a shortstop with incredible range and a bat that can change a lineup. The main concern is health, as staying healthy consistently has been a challenge. Seager's contract is still significant, but when compared to other high-profile deals around the league, it doesn't feel as prohibitive as it once did. The Yankees have the opportunity to explore options, and while a trade isn't guaranteed, keeping an eye on Seager is essential. He could elevate the infield immediately if brought in and healthy, but the combination of cost and injury risk makes this a tricky situation to navigate. Meanwhile, Ketel Marte is another name that could generate headlines. Marte's no-trade list includes 5 teams, with the Yankees among them. It's intriguing to see the other teams on that list, some of which are puzzling choices given the potential for competitive play. A player like Marte, primarily a second baseman and switch hitter, fits well into the Yankees' lineup needs, but based on his no-trade preferences, it seems unlikely he sees New York as a desirable destination. The use of a no-trade clause can sometimes be strategic, allowing players to leverage contract negotiations, and it appears Marte is utilizing this power fully. While he's an excellent player who could contribute immediately, the likelihood of him landing in New York seems slim. He may be a fit for other contenders before the Yankees, and for fans, it's a story to watch closely as the offseason unfolds. And of course, we can't ignore the outfield situation and Cody Bellinger. Negotiations there have been intense, with both sides trying to balance years and money. The Yankees are reportedly unwilling to go beyond 5 years, whereas Bellinger is looking for 7, which complicates the potential deal. This decision ties directly into other roster moves, because if the Yankees commit to Bellinger, they might need to adjust their approach with younger players like Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. Right now, platooning them doesn't make much sense, as both struggle against left-handed pitching, and their minor league numbers indicate that relying on them without a clear plan could create gaps in the lineup. The Yankees may also explore adding another outfielder to complement the roster, someone who can handle left-handed pitching, but balancing the budget and the roster slots is challenging. Adding players like Austin Hayes or leveraging Ahmed Rosario in different platoon scenarios complicates things further, but the priority is clear. The Yankees need stability and proven production in the outfield. Returning to pitching for a moment, the connection between Michael King and other free agents is worth noting. King shares an agent with Kyle Tucker, which could indicate broader negotiations happening behind the scenes. While this is speculative, it's interesting to consider how agent relationships can influence potential deals and priorities in the offseason. The Yankees clearly have decisions to make, whether that involves bringing King back, pursuing Bellinger, or targeting other key acquisitions. Each choice has a domino effect across the roster, influencing not only the rotation, but also the infield and outfield alignment. The Yankees' offseason strategy is coming into sharper focus, and it's all about balancing talent, health, and financial commitments. Bringing back Michael King would fill a critical rotation need and restore a familiar face to the mound, while targeting players like Seager and Bellinger addresses gaps in the lineup. Meanwhile, players like Ketel Marte add complexity with their preferences, highlighting how much negotiation and strategy goes into building a championship-caliber roster. Every move requires weighing risks against potential rewards, and the Yankees are clearly navigating these waters carefully. The team's decisions in the coming weeks will define the roster heading into spring training and set the stage for a competitive campaign in New York, with fans eagerly awaiting the outcomes of these high-profile negotiations. Continuing on the Yankees' offseason, the rotation and lineup discussions remain the central focus, and there's no shortage of names generating chatter. If Michael King does return, he could slot in as a frontline starter, but that would inevitably shift the dynamics for other pitchers. Max Fried, Will Warren, Luis Healy, Cam Schlittler, and Ryan Yarbrough form the current projected rotation. But with Rodon and Cole potentially missing time, King's addition becomes even more attractive. The Yankees need stability early in the season, and a pitcher like King, despite recent injury history, provides an immediate impact. The question remains how much the front office is willing to invest, especially with free agent dollars being finite and multiple needs still open. If they commit to King, does that mean Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger become more difficult to sign? Balancing top-tier pitching with a potent lineup is never simple, but the Yankees have a chance to strengthen both if they manage the priorities correctly. Looking at the outfield, Bellinger is arguably the most pressing case. The negotiations have been tense, with years and financial terms being the main points of contention. The Yankees reportedly won't go beyond 5 years, while Bellinger's camp seeks 7. This isn't just about adding a big bat. It's also about setting the tone for the outfield alignment. If the Yankees commit to Bellinger, that could determine how they handle younger players like Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez. Right now, the minor league numbers show clear weaknesses against left-handed pitching for both, making a platoon scenario less effective than it might seem on paper. The Yankees need a solution that strengthens the lineup against all pitching types, which may involve trading one of the young outfielders or signing a true complement to Bellinger, who can handle left-handed pitchers reliably. The financial commitment here is key because it influences every other move. Committing to Bellinger in the 5-year range provides a blend of production and cost control, but stretching too far could compromise flexibility elsewhere on the roster. The infield situation is just as intriguing. Corey Seager remains a tantalizing option, though health and cost are legitimate concerns. The Rangers are listening to offers but are not necessarily looking to trade him, making this a delicate negotiation. When healthy, Seager is a transformative player, one of the best shortstops in the league, capable of providing both defensive stability and offensive firepower. His presence could immediately elevate the Yankees' infield, but there's no guarantee he stays healthy, and that uncertainty makes committing significant resources risky. Comparatively, the market for elite infielders has shifted, with contracts that once seemed exorbitant now appearing reasonable due to inflation and rising salaries. So the Yankees need to carefully weigh the potential upside against the financial and injury risk. Ketel Marte, meanwhile, represents a more complicated scenario. His no-trade list includes 5 teams, including New York, and the choices on that list are curious. While the Yankees fit the profile of a team he could contribute to, it seems he may be reluctant to come to the Bronx. Using a no-trade clause strategically, players like Marte can influence negotiations and potentially leverage adjustments to their contracts. Marte's ability as a switch-hitting infielder primarily at second base makes him a highly valuable asset, and while the Yankees might be on the list of potential destinations, other teams could be more attractive from his perspective. The interplay between player preference and team need highlights just how nuanced the offseason is becoming. Each player, each negotiation shifts the puzzle slightly, forcing the Yankees to consider multiple scenarios simultaneously. Returning to pitching, the Yankees also have to balance the rotation against potential bullpen needs. While the focus has been on starters like King, the overall staff must be fortified to endure a long season, especially in a division filled with contenders. Depth in the bullpen and rotation ensures flexibility in matchups and allows the team to navigate injuries without major disruption. This balance is critical, particularly when adding high-cost free agents elsewhere on the roster. For instance, if King is signed, what does that mean for potential bullpen acquisitions or mid-level starters? Each move carries a ripple effect that requires careful evaluation. Financial strategy remains at the forefront of decision-making. The Yankees have to balance immediate performance with long-term flexibility, particularly in a market where top-tier talent commands increasingly significant contracts. Allocating resources to King or Bellinger impacts how much can be spent elsewhere, and it may influence trade discussions or internal development priorities. Committing to one big name may necessitate creative solutions elsewhere, such as utilizing prospects or making strategic trades that align with roster construction goals. The Yankees' front office faces the challenge of optimizing talent while keeping flexibility for future seasons. The timing of these decisions is also crucial. Free agency is a fast-moving environment, and delays can limit options or drive up prices unexpectedly. Michael King, Cody Bellinger, and other high-profile names are in discussions with multiple teams, meaning the Yankees have to act decisively while evaluating risk. The interplay between injury history, contract demands, and positional needs requires strategic foresight, and every day matters as the offseason unfolds. Fans are watching closely, knowing that each acquisition or missed opportunity could define the upcoming season. Meanwhile, younger players on the roster add another layer of complexity. Integrating prospects like Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez requires balancing playing time and development with the immediate goal of winning. Decisions about platooning or trading players are intertwined with free agent signings and rotation moves, creating a web of interconnected choices. Every acquisition, whether a starter like King or a corner outfielder like Bellinger, influences how younger talent is deployed and developed. This makes the Yankees' offseason an intricate balancing act, where the goal is to maximize performance while preserving flexibility. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. The Bronx is buzzing with a kind of electricity that cannot be measured on a radar gun or timed with a stopwatch. Whispers have grown louder in clubhouses, radio shows, and late-night conversations around Yankee Stadium. Shohei Ohtani may be on his way to pinstripes. Nothing has been signed, nothing has been officially announced, yet the mere possibility has been enough to set imaginations on fire. In a city that thrives on legends, the idea of baseball's most fascinating superstar wearing the iconic uniform feels almost too perfect to ignore. Sources close to the situation suggest that internal discussions have intensified, fueling the belief that the Yankees are positioning themselves for a move that would shake the sport. Ohtani represents more than just elite talent. He symbolizes a new era, one in which boundaries between roles blur and expectations are rewritten. For an organization built on historic names and larger-than-life moments, the allure is obvious. Bringing such a unique figure to the Bronx would be a statement that tradition and innovation can coexist under the same lights. Around the stadium, Fans are already debating how Ohtani would fit into the lineup, how his presence could transform the atmosphere, and what it would mean for the franchise's global reach. Some see it as destiny, others as a bold gamble, but few deny the sheer magnitude of the rumor. The Yankees have always been linked to the biggest stars, and this speculation feels like the next chapter in that familiar narrative. Until clarity arrives, the Bronx remains suspended between hope and caution. Rumors are, by nature, fragile things, yet this one carries unusual weight. If it becomes reality, it could redefine expectations not only for the Yankees, but for baseball itself. For now, all that exists is anticipation, echoing through the stands and down the streets, waiting to see if imagination will turn into history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.